Alright guys, in today's video we have a few different things we're going to be going over and discussing in regards to the PlayStation 5. We are going to be discussing a new leak and a new rumor that has popped up, and I know that some of you are completely done with the leaks and the rumors, and if that's the case, don't feel too bad because we are also going to be discussing some official information. Yes, official information that comes from a studio that has had a working relationship with Sony for quite some time, and how they are getting ready to reveal and announce a AAA game, a new AAA game seemingly for the PlayStation 5. And this rumor we're going to be discussing may actually have something to do with that. We're starting to see that there's just some things that are not going away, some rumors that are not going away. And you know how the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. And in this case, I think some things will line up. But we do have to understand nothing is officially confirmed yet, except for the fact that the studio that we're going to be discussing is going to be revealing a new AAA game. And I want to reassure anybody who is getting completely tired of the leaks. I know you know, most of you are just like, look, we just want the official information. But the truth is, this is probably the most exciting thing that's going on right now because it's the only thing that's really going on right now. It's the quiet before the storm, the calm before the storm. And if you are somebody who is getting frustrated with this stuff, you don't have to feel too bad because it is literally just a matter of time, possibly a matter of weeks until we get the official information. Right now it is leak season and rumor season, so once we get the official information and everything's out there, we're going to be making a lot less of these types of videos. But I know that there is a large audience here that is very much interested in keeping up with this stuff, and they want to know what the latest leaks and the rumors are, even if they aren't true. It's just interesting to them. So starting here with an individual named Tommy Fisher. Now, I don't know who this person is. I can only assume this is an alias that they're using clearly. But they are coming off as if they know some things about the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox, as well as a few other tidbits. Now, what makes this leak a little bit different from the ones we've been going over is that this is not a massive leak. This isn't somebody who just randomly came on and posted what seems to be like a wish list of things. This is pretty particular. It has to do with the specifications of the next generation consoles and a few studio acquisitions, and that's about it. And what's interesting about this one is that this Tommy Fisher individual, apparently, if everything, it's hard to keep up with all this stuff, I think that they were verified on Reset Error, where they have kind of a process where they don't just allow anybody to go around making these claims. They have to actually, if they're going to remain on the forum without getting banned or having their posts removed or whatever, as far as I understand, they have to go to the moderators and provide some type of proof or some type of evidence that they do have connections, that they are not just a random person saying things. And as far as I know so far, I think they were verified at first, but then I think maybe an update, they're saying that they didn't provide sufficient enough information, and it does not mean that they are discredited. They're saying that they just couldn't come to acceptable terms for verification. Now, whether or not that means, they're saying don't believe this, I don't know. I'm just giving you guys the context so you understand that we can't take everything we're about to hear as gospel, right? We have to understand that this could be completely made up, but this person does sound particularly confident. So he says here, I just need to remind you things that I said before for the last time. The GPU inside of the PlayStation 5 is apparently 10% greater or better than the GPU that's in the Xbox Series. Ray tracing accelerators. The PS5 apparently has the edge over the Xbox Series with this. It says PlayStation 5's ray tracing works by using acceleration structures and algorithms much like NVIDIA's RTX cores. However, the CPU inside of the Xbox Series is 6% better performing than the one that is inside of the PlayStation 5. The memory. Apparently the PlayStation 5 also has the edge in this area, and it just has overall better size and bandwidth. They don't go into much detail. And they talk about the SSD, which we discussed a little bit yesterday, and how the PlayStation 5 also has an edge in this area. It says over twice as fast. This is the biggest and most noticeable difference. And this does line up with exactly what we discussed yesterday. People think that what we were going over yesterday was some kind of leak. That was not a leak. That was somebody who found some information that was pointing to, look, this is the manufacturer that is providing the SSDs for the next Xbox, and there are some things here that are, you know, they could change, like they are subject to change. It's just the likelihood of them changing, probably not much. So just wanted to emphasize that, because this is an individual here who claims to know things, and this is exactly what they're claiming, that the SSD inside of the PlayStation 5 is, you know, double that of the next Xbox. It talks about fan noise on the dev kit. Apparently, this is where the Xbox Series has an advantage, which this isn't the biggest deal, but some people do care about this. The PS4 Pro, man, that thing sounds like a jet plane getting ready to take off. I really hope they solve that problem with the PS5. According to this individual, it's still, you know, the Xbox is still going to have the advantage in this area where it's going to be quieter, but he goes on to highlight that it's not going to be the fan noise inside the PlayStation 5 as egregious as it was on the PlayStation 4 Pro and even sometimes with the Xbox One X. And he goes on to say, by the way, it's up to you to believe me or not, but things are going to be clear very soon, and you will find out who knows what. And he says here, bonus, and this is a pretty big bonus if it's true, and it makes sense. It makes sense if it's true. There is some evidence out here that does point to this being a real possibility. Remedy and Housemarque have been in Sony's Worldwide Studios family for a while now, and Techland now belongs to Microsoft as a first-party studio. So, just a few other things to note here. When this individual, I believe Mod of War, gave an update saying that they could not provide, Tommy Fisher could not provide sufficient enough information. It doesn't mean they're discrediting him, they just can't completely verify him. He responded by saying, I hope you guys understand I had to be so freaking careful about my source. You're going to understand everything very soon. Stay tuned for some crazy stuff happening in both Sony and Microsoft reveal events. And so, yeah, this was a pretty significant thing, and there's a lot of people saying that they don't, you know, believe this, but there's a lot of people also saying that a lot of what this individual is claiming would line up with what a lot of people who are on the inside, who have not given specific details, what they have been hinting at for quite some time now. And what they have been hinting at is that the PS5 is more powerful than people think. In fact, it actually edges out the Xbox Series in some areas. Not by a significant amount, but by a little bit. And so, you know, also looking at these studios, the reason why I said we are going to be going over official information here is Housemarque, the studio Housemarque, they came out and they put out like a blog post celebrating, I think it was their 25th year anniversary, something like that. It was a very long time that they've been around, and they revealed that they're no longer working on that game. I don't even remember the name of the game, if I'm being honest. I don't have the article in front of me, but it was their Battle Royale game that really nobody, frankly, cared about. And they said that they're not working on that anymore. What they are doing is their biggest, most ambitious project, a big AAA game. That's all they said, but they did say that they're waiting for their publisher to reveal it. Now, this is Housemarque. Who is their publisher going to be? It's going to be Sony. Okay, and they're pretty much coming out here saying, and I'm not trying to jump to conclusions, but come on now, they're saying they're going to have a new AAA game announced alongside the PlayStation 5, and they're just basically waiting for Sony to reveal it with the upcoming event. Now, I'm mentioning this not only because that's exciting in itself, right? It's going to be interesting to see what a studio like Housemarque can do in the AAA space. I don't think they've ever done anything that's been massive AAA. It's going to be incredibly interesting to see if this rumor does turn out to be true, or this leak where he's claiming, Tommy Fisher's claiming that Housemarque has been part of Sony's Worldwide Studios for quite some time. To back this up even further, okay, because he mentions Remedy and Housemarque, I'm going to take you back to like mid-2019. We did a few videos covering this. Shuhei Yoshida paid a visit to both Housemarque and Remedy, and we saw, we know how close Housemarque has been to Sony for years now, so we know that there's a very good working relationship, and we saw just how close Remedy was seemingly getting with Sony and their studios, paying each other a visit. I mean, there were times where Remedy developers were going to pay a visit to Sony's developers, Naughty Dog, I believe, vice versa. And it just seemed like they were getting really buddy-buddy. And I speculated, at that time that maybe this is Sony trying to straight up acquire these studios. And so I want to also point out that individuals that I'm not going to bother naming here because, if you're following this stuff, you already know who I'm talking about. Individuals across the internet are, who are coming off as if they have inside sources and information that they're not willing to reveal, are coming out here and teasing and straight up saying, look, Sony has acquired a few studios, a few, pretty big studios, and we're going to learn about them probably at the reveal event or sometime soon. It's just a matter of time. And they are not backing down from those claims. And I don't doubt it. I do not doubt that Sony has acquired a studio or two, or maybe more than that. In fact, to kind of throw this out here, another leak, because this is just a leak-filled video. Apparently, Hip Hop Gamer, the individual who talked about having some serious sources that revealed to him that Sony is in fact going to be they're going to have legacy backward compatibility with every single PlayStation console generation. He's also coming out here and saying, and he's locking it down. Again, the reason why we have to pay attention to this, I know people don't take him seriously, but he's going to get destroyed if this turns out to not be true, because he's flat out just coming out here like, look, Kojima Productions is acquired by Sony, and they're working on a new horror game. Now, he could just be completely making that up. That's why I'm throwing it in here at the end, and we don't know yet. And so, what I'm trying to point out is that all of these individuals, there's a difference between somebody like a Tommy Fisher who's hiding behind an alias. If he's completely wrong, he's completely wrong. Nobody's going to care. You're just never going to see him again on any of these forums. But somebody like Hip Hop Gamer saying something about Kojima Productions in that way and saying what he said about legacy backwards compatibility, he's putting his reputation on the line, man. Like, he's going to get destroyed. Like, no one will take him even remotely seriously ever again if he's completely off the mark with this stuff. So I just wanted to take some time to point this out. It's very interesting if all of this does turn out to be true, although I doubt all of it will turn out to be true. I also want to, before ending the video, because there's just so much information to wade through here, Techland being bought by Microsoft, another one that does seem very likely. The reason why I say this is because recently, Dying Light 2, which is the game that Techland is currently developing, was delayed out of nowhere. But what's interesting is it was delayed indefinitely, and that's not very common. This isn't similar to like, oh, we're delaying it to September or something like that. Like, no, we have no idea when we're going to see this game again. That's what that delay means. And some people are like, this is a little weird. We also know that they are a Polish studio and that Microsoft apparently was recently shopping around for a Polish studio, looking to acquire one. And I think Techland would be a good fit. They are, I'd say, a AAA studio, and we know that Microsoft could probably use some more of that. A lot of the studios they buy are smaller, working on AA games, things that they can pump out a little bit faster. But I think Microsoft, at least I hope they're aware, that they need to bolster up their AAA presence as well. They're doing that with Playground Games and the Initiative. But getting a studio like Techland would be absolutely huge. Not to mention that Sony getting Remedy and Housemarque would be huge as well, especially, Remedy. Simply because Control was a great game. I love that game, and to think that, that talent is now going to be underneath Sony and have that safety net, I'm going to be really interested to see if that turns out to be true. Kojima Productions, still definitely a possibility. I don't know for sure. The PlayStation 5 GPU being better than the Xbox Series GPU, the SSD being better, it's all lining up, guys. It's all lining up. I'm just simply saying that you have to remember the things that Sony have confirmed here without giving away official specifications, that they have an extremely proprietary, highly advanced SSD, that they do have hardware accelerated ray tracing, and a lot of people are making it sound like, oh, it's not going to be nearly as good or whatever, but Sony has their own thing they're doing here. The CPU we know is essentially going to be the same across the board for both of these consoles. I think the big question is the RAM size. A lot of people are saying that that's pretty much what we know the least about. And so we've been hearing again from Jason Schreier, who's extremely reliable. We've been hearing from other developers. We've been hearing from people also on the Reset Era forums who are verified. or have been verified that from what they're hearing, the PS5 has the slight edge. And so we got that big rumor and the leak about the 9.2 TFLOPS and whatnot. And it's also worth noting that he is claiming this is all being measured on, I believe, RDNA 2, either one, I think 2, AMD technology. And to finish up this video, I believe he said that the Xbox Series is going to be at around 12 teraflops measured in RDNA 2, and then the PlayStation 5 is going to be at around 13 teraflops in RDNA 2. Now that, I mean, that's pretty intense. That would certainly explain why both of these consoles are expected to be $500. But that would be amazing if true, not because power matters, but because, I don't care. If it was the other way around and the Xbox Series was 13 T-flops and the PS5 was 12, I just want to see it, like, these consoles be as powerful as they can be, just because I want to see the biggest leap forward when I, put away my PlayStation 4 Pro and upgrade to the PS5. But that does it for the video, guys. I know it was a little bit long, but there was a lot to go over, and so I'm going to be really interested to see what you guys have to say about this. And I know some of you are going to leave comments like, please stop with the leaks, but as I told you, this is leak season, and we are going to continue to go over this stuff until we get the official info. But this one in particular seems as though there could be something to it, but it's not worth putting all your stock into. He does say here it's up to you how much you want to believe me, but he comes off very confident and making it sound like everybody's going to be blown away. I will say this to end the video. If this is in fact true, this would explain Sony's silence, because they are planning to just blow people away. And he also mentions that Microsoft's going to have some surprises as well. So that's exciting stuff, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it or if you found it informative. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload. And feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.